Hello. Can you believe that it's 5 years since we were wearing masks and cannot be so like social as some people wish, or we need to send text to leave the house and things like feel so weird today? I was watching a documentary and part of it a few days ago, and part of it people wearing masks, although it was not related to COVID, and I thought I understand that it was like 5 years since the peak of the pandemic. At the time, I was in Germany and I couldn't return home, and it was so hard for me, and I couldn't speak the language also, so it was very complicated. But I thought to look at the distance from this, what happened at the time, and I thought let's try to explore some photos of the time and reflect on that one. And I did it like for myself initially, and then I thought why not create a video. So let's go to look at the photos. I will have all the links below. I will not see most of the photos on those links. So if you like this idea, I will strongly suggest you to check the photos because some of them have really interesting I, stories. So let's see that, and then I come back to you in a minute after it. That was the first photo. I don't know how many people have gone to supermarkets. I remember I was in Germany in the first wave, and things were looking really weird. And I think my family in Greece tell me that it wasn't that bad, and I don't understand why people react this way. I mean, it's maybe the unknown, but I, as far as I remember, there was no really issues about not having food. Maybe some products were not available, but it was accessible most of the times. When we come to something like that, it feels so weird to have, instead of people in the chairs, to have photos of them. So I really don't understand some of those things, and I will show you more. Like this one. Imagine how many people will accept to do something like that today. And I don't know. It's like this is a social activity. I'm an introvert, and my life is not so different from the lockdown time. But I don't know how people were connected on this way or melting in these things. I really don't know. And this was, I think, June 2020, which was like the first wave or something like that, or when things starts becoming a little easier. This one is like, it feels irrational at the moment. And it was reminding me of the Big Bang Theory when Sheldon was doing something like that and he was going to work instead of him to avoid, I don't know what he wanted to avoid. And it's like how reality can match with fiction and movies and comedies, I don't know. This just feeling makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Why the baby has to be through that? And at the end of the day, I wasn't really sure how much the face shield was protecting. Even the mask, there was questions, but the air cannot pass through this. I don't understand. Another one which I don't understand. Why you have to move all these plants in this place to make this thing? Makes sense, no? Another one is like photos in the stadium. I don't know if the athletes like it. I mean, it could be delusional that there are people, but the energy of the humans maybe affect the channel, the artist. Sorry, I'm confused. The players. And these were all from the CNN, and I will put all the links below. This is like a makeshift confession booth. I think that was not too bad idea. I think if it was safe and protecting and temporary, it was kind of okay to me. But still, it feels weird. Yes, this photo, it's moved. I was thinking, yes, I think this was the photo I was having in mind. This is from Time, and it's like how the value of life and death has changed during this time. How we're putting people in the boxes and having like a mass craving, and you cannot deal with so many people dying, and it was protection and things like that. But still, for me, if I die, I want to be burned. But for some people, they want to be buried in a specific place, and their relatives going to bring flowers to them. And now even people don't have the chance to have the death they want. Yes, this one. People are. I thought they will not move, but they moved, and I was looking for this one. I think this was one of the weirdest situations. I remember during the time. I'm not a person that like that much to hug people or things like that, so maybe for me it's okay as an introvert. But yes, replacing the human touch with this plastic thing, it's kind of humiliating looking at it after all these years. Then we move into a site which is called CNET something. And this was like this photo is like the empty streets. Howard is looking like the empty streets and masks. That was feeling weird. This is like from New Delhi sanitizing the streets. I really don't know if this had any benefit at the end. I just don't know. I'm not saying it goes or not. I'm just saying I don't know. This is like how many? This is like a field hospital at Columbia, and it's like an athletic complex have been transformed into a field hospital. And I mean, it's like how many hospitals built, like especially in China, quickly, just for this reason, and how many people adapted either to how many places adapted either to being as hospitals, and even the human. I don't know. It's like again, it feels like humiliating for people suffering or to be in these conditions, but there was no other way. Or the places could become to get the in how it's called the current to get the injections with the oh my brain's not working now, but you understand what I mean. Like the COVID, like yes, you know, you remember. It's just I stop remember. I cannot remember the English word. Oh wait. Okay, I managed to pass the recording and check, pause the recording, and it's vaccine. And I stopped. I didn't remember the word vaccine, which is maybe nice not to remember it after all. I don't know how many I did, 4 or 5. But what I wanted to say is how many places instead of hospitals they become also vaccination centers. Yes, this is like toilet paper ice cream cake, and it's like in Germany. And I understand these humoristic things. I remember people fighting for toilet papers in the supermarket, and it was so crazy. It was so crazy. And this is moved again from what I had in mind. So let's see. Yes, this is like February 7, and it says Wuhan on lockdown. And I think at the time we were looking at scenes from Wuhan. I don't know if I say that correct. I think it was the place where it started, and or close to that. And it was so many for us in Europe. It was looking so weird, and we couldn't expect that this thing will move on to Greece, Europe. And I remember when I was in UK, like there was again like an epidemic, but it never reached Europe. And I was thinking, I think it was like again like a coronavirus thing, but it wasn't that bad. Like 10 years ago, 15. And I was thinking like, okay, I was reading data from that thing and online, and I got some papers, and I thought, okay, this is the first wave. It will go. It will not expand. But things were so different than we people can predict at the time. And this is like again a different site which is called WBUR, and this is like empty trains. Like it was weird to see like this public transport to be so empty. I sometimes now we wish to be. Actually, today I took the bus, and it's like because it's at the recording it's the end of July, and most of the people have gone the holidays, and some moments I've gone to swim, and the bus was empty, only me for like few stops, and I was like, okay, that's nice. And what I was looking here, yes, it's like how many people adapt even like these small things like art or something like that, and put masks in everything, and it was a way of coping, I think. Nobody was prepared on something like that. You have seen it in movies, but nobody was actually prepared for that. And this was like how tired the nursing people after all this time, and then we treat them like heroes at the time, and I think now we all forget about them. They are heroes, but nobody respect them. That was a photo I have seen. This is from National Geographic, the previous in this one, and That was a photo I have seen, and it makes me still even uncomfortable to put my thoughts one after the other. You cannot believe that this was a human, and it's like that. It's more like a movie, and they did all these things not to for other people be affected. But again, I don't know if that was correct or wrong. Yes, and final thing is empty museums, and at the end of the day, I don't understand how people could have gone to like supermarkets but not in museums. It's beyond logic. Don't know. And it's like a photographer, Marika Erthal. I'm sure I didn't say the correct name. And she, in her self-portrait in July 2020, in her visit to the sea after being confined at home, lockdowns, it says, the experience brought me peace of mind and allowed me to observe the sadness and anxieties I had inside. I mean, on the one hand, I was just thinking it's funny because I was thinking like, why people should not allow to go to the seaside? And it's really funny that I think I get, if I remember correctly, once time COVID for sure, and I think I got it from the seaside. I was not so close to anybody, but just going to the stream and people were around and I got it. And now makes me think, okay, there was a point of distancing in the seaside because you think it's open space and it's safe. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely motivate you to go to go to the links and see other photos if you're interested, because I think they're really useful. And I come back with some closing thoughts. I hope you enjoy them. I'm doing this because they're not pleasant, but you know, in some videos I look in the history of photography and I think I will look again in more in the future or to photographers, but I think this is a common experience for most of us. And if we survive it, we should be grateful. And what we have seen in this photo is maybe some things we don't want to remember, but I think they are important to remember because we tend not to be grateful for the things we have on daily basis, and we tend to ask and look for more things. And for me, I try to be grateful for what I have at the moment. It's like being able to go to the sea and swim, and I think these little things that makes me grateful. And at the time, my life is not so different compared to the lockdowns because I was unemployed, I think the most of the periods of it, and I had to stay at home. People at the time working from home. I'm still working from home, but it is my choice to do that, and I'm really happy for that. And for me, I don't have friends, so I don't mind if I don't. How can I say? It wouldn't be so much affected for my life. And also, I enjoy working, so what was allowed to do at the time, I was happy with that. Of course, I don't want to wear a mask again outside, but that's a different story. So, as I say, you can go and explore more photos from the links, and I think, as I say again, it's important for us to remember what we have been through, and I don't think any of us, like in 2019, before it started, would expect this to affect us. When we were watching the news in China, I don't think a lot of us would expect that our countries will be something like that. And it's a big debate if the things had to be done that way, but I'm too small to judge. But as a scientist myself, when I was following what the scientists were telling at the time, I think we did the correct thing. But I don't know if the scientists were correct. And I think one thing for the science is to evolve and to judge and to change. So maybe we learn a lot for the future pandemics. I hope we will not have to experience that again in our lifetime. And yes, I think it's a little different video today, but again, it's photographic central and it's history of photography, and I think it's really important, as I said, to look back to that. So if you enjoy it, please leave your thoughts. How do you feel about looking at these photos again? You can like, subscribe, and you can also find my work in Instagram. I hope to see you again. Have a good day and stay strong, and related to this, we have what we have seen. Be grateful for the things you have, and try to appreciate the little moments that they were not obvious that we have them at the time of the pandemic. Like go for a walk, or see your parents, or call your parents, and don't have to touch them with plastic wrapping things. And if you like hugging people, hug them. Bye bye now.